Good afternoon, Joe, Rico, Alex Ramirez. The final word back in town here at number 38 for a special post-game Denver Broncos edition. The Broncos victorious over the New Orleans Saints 28-19 in the final preseason game of the 2025 campaign. At this time, I'd like to bring on my partner for the last 13 years, El Guapo Suavecito Caballero, Alejandro Ramirez. And Alejandro, another ho-hum preseason game. But hey, the key to this game is, other than Blake Watson, and we don't know the status of his injury, pretty much injury-free, and the Broncos win. Your thoughts on the preseason? Is the best thing is that it's over.
What do they call it, Joey? They say they don't count, but they mean something.
They matter. Right? Yeah, they don't count, but they matter.
Broncos 28-19 today over the New Orleans Saints. It was a game that the Broncos, I mean, it's not about winning or losing unless you're
they're evaluating their roster.
Unless you're a gambling degenerate,
right?
Which you will see in our second segment.
We have a lot of those
with Dr. Stano.
Fantasy. You're scouting fantasy guys, right? I was.
At the end of the day, though, man, I mean, you look at the Broncos stat line. Courtland Sutton, 4 receptions, 83 yards, touchdown.
Yep.
He's the number 1 receiver, Joe. Right?
Oh, look, let me just say what they did prove today. 10 of 14 for Bo Nix. Bo Nix, spraying the ball all over the field, looked good, looked sharp, made a couple nice escapes out of the pocket for some good scrambles. And that's what he did last year so effectively. That guy, he doesn't just stand there like a statue. He escapes big guys, and then he runs down the field. I think the next progression is maybe he starts looking for receivers down the field a little more in those scrambles. But, hey, the bottom line is the Broncos get a big win, 3-0. They're done with the preseason, and everybody's on to Tennessee.
How many teams have gone 3-0 and just –
a lot of them and just pooped the bed?
Pooped the bed.
Man, I'm going to tell you so many. Remember the Detroit Lions? I believe the 0-16 Lions. Now, wait, look this up. I think they were 4-0 in the preseason in 2008, Nick, and then went 0-16. So these games are meaningless, but like you said, they matter for some guys, right? If you're the backup center and you're about to get cut and it's just this game, right? If it's that close, well, it matters to that dude, right? So the other guy it matters to is special teams. Is that right? We got it right?
You're right. 4-0 in the preseason. They beat the New York Giants 13-10, the Cincinnati Bengals 27-10, Cleveland Browns 26-6, and the Buffalo Bills 14-6. And after that, they couldn't scratch out a W to save their lives.
Well, let me say this. The poignant moment from that season is Dan Orlovsky when he runs out of the end zone for that safety. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he forgets where he is. I think it was Thanksgiving he did that.
Now he's an NFL insider.
Well, now he's just roasting people every Sunday. Hey, so let's just go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes now.
Hey, Audric Estime.
Yeah, he may have saved
carries, 45 yards.
And a touchdown, right?
Yeah, but, is that
too little too late?
Is that a trade bait guy?
Maybe. I mean, let's say Devon Vele, by the way, news of the week, he's gone. Traded, good move. You traded 7th-round pick for a 4th and a 6th.
Got more out of him than you expected.
I mean, absolutely. And I think that what that says is that Pat Bryant, who had a couple of nice grabs again today, Pat Bryant's part of the plan now. I mean, you can pretty much see after his 4 reception for 82 yards last week, against, kind of the second teamers, he got some snaps today in with the first team. And I'm going to tell you, man, that guy is a big dude who he kind of looks like Shannon Sharp. I mean, he's 6'4", 225, same dimension.
He wasn't playing with meaningful minutes.
No, he wasn't, but he did a little bit today. We'll see. I mean, you're right, Alex. Until the regular season, nobody really knows what any of these guys can do. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the defense. I thought they kind of rebounded a little bit today. They were flying all around the ball. And look, I don't know what the preseason means, but I do know if you give up like 42 points today and, you're missing tackles and you're looking like crap, you are going to comment. All these people are going to be like, what the heck's going on? I didn't see any of that today. I saw a team ready to play football. And then in the 3rd and 4th quarter of all these games, you're dealing with a bunch of guys that aren't going to be in the NFL. So it's really hard.
Q Robinson still continues to impress.
Oh, my goodness. Q Robinson's a beast, dude.
From Alabama.
4th-round pick from Alabama.
Listen, guys.
Did you see that sack he had?
Yeah,
you see that guy?
I did.
Yeah, fumble. Strip sack.
Here's the thing is back in the day, and I know this has been a couple of years now, but before they used to cut them in. They used to cut players.
Yeah, they did it in waves. They did 10, then 10, and then 20.
It all comes down to like one cut.
Yeah.
So how many players does that really come down to?
Well,
How many players will be available?
Yeah, it's a lot. So what happens is there's 85 men on the roster, and they have to cut to 53. So that's 32.
When does that happen?
Times
Joe?
32, and that happens Monday.
Tomorrow.
Well, yeah, a lot of people. So you're right. What'll happen is the veterans, the guys that you love, you'll release them a day early, hoping that maybe they can hook up with another team. But the majority, it all comes down 8 a.m. Monday morning and all the way till 4 p.m. Teams have till 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday to get their final roster together. After that, you can trade for people. You're not safe even on that final roster.
You got to put a lot of guys in the practice squad.
Yeah, 16 guys go on the practice squad.
So there might be some players for the Broncos that need to be on the practice squad. And if other teams are looking at them, like Andre Estime,
yeah,
at this point, you can't trade for him anymore because they can just pick him up off the waivers and say, hey, you know what? I want that guy. So they did that trade.
For Bailey. Yeah.
And I wasn't really thrilled about that. And all that's Troy Renck in our third segment about that. Yeah,
I love that trade.
I don't like it because it was a 7th round pick. Yeah, you got a couple more picks out of that, but how does that really help you now?
Well, you have too much depth. I'll tell you why, and this is
what comes down to is I think Patrick Bryant, Pat Bryant, and I think Marvin Mims and Hamilton.
Hamilton.
I'm sorry.
You mean Franklin?
Troy
Franklin. But can I tell you what Sean Payton said?
Can I finish my point?
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Those guys might be doing something that we don't know about, and they're like, okay, we could ill afford to build for the future. But I wasn't really excited about that trade because that dude. What happens if he's Randy Moss, Joe?
Well, okay, he's not. But he did have 41 catches as a rookie, led all NFL rookies in receptions last year. Well, can you let me finish because I'm just giving you facts. But Coach Sean Payton said, hey, man, they didn't want to carry that 6th receiver because on game day, they wouldn't have known who to make active. And they talked about, Sean said, hey, look, we might bring him for the game, but then he might not dress. And what he wants to really say is that roster on the defensive line and on the offensive line, what this does is it allows them to keep maybe one of those guys, and it's not Q Robinson, by the way. He's made the team. I'm talking about a guy.
I don't think he has.
Oh, he has, definitely. Q Robinson.
He has for sure.
No, Q Robinson. And look, man, I'm about 95% on stuff like this. The burst that Q Robinson showed today, and it wasn't just today. From what we said, this was all during training camp. On the day you and I were there, Q Robinson had 2 sacks. He was a guy that's just been a beast. He's making the squad. But there's some guy that we might not have thought that was going to make the squad, and because they traded Devon Bailey, that opens up a roster spot. And I think it's going to be more on the defensive side of the ball. You're going to get an extra defensive lineman. And I think the inside linebacker group is the other group I'm a little worried about.
Sam Ellinger today, he went 22 for 31, 198 yards, touchdown. He came out of Texas. He was a guy who scored 60 touchdowns in college as a running quarterback.
Here's what I think.
Can
I tell you what I think? So listen, man, Sam Ellinger gave Sean Payton, because what they're doing, look, man, Jared Stidham is I consider a pretty hot commodity. I mean, they don't have a lot of guys. If you're looking at a team, let's say Minnesota, who's banking on a J.J. McCarthy, or, I think a disaster plan for a guy like Jared Stidham, I think he might be some trade bait. Like you said, there are some guys that even though you might say that they're going to release them, they won't release Jared Stidham.
How many quarterbacks Broncos are keeping?
2, but Sam Ellinger is going to get hooked up somewhere. Just somebody saw that tape and one of those 32 teams. No, he's not making the roster. I don't think. I think Stidham has been amazing.
If he goes on the practice squad, he's gone.
He's going to get scooped up. And he played for Indianapolis last year, by the way. He played pretty well. He's going to get scooped up.
He's gone too.
Well, Sean Payton said this week that several Broncos that are going to be playing for other teams. In other words, they have a lot of talent that's going to get cut. And I think that's just a sign of a good football team, right? Every good football team, the other guys are picking up your slop.
I think it's important that we understand that the depth now with the Broncos is really
pretty solid.
Yeah,
I think it's solid, bro. Yeah, I do. Well, let's just talk a little.
When Baron Browning last year, when they let him go, it was because they wanted to make sure that Nick Bonito was going to be a superstar. And that's what's happened.
Well, not only that, Jonathan Cooper, you had Jonah Ellis. And Jonah Ellis, by the way, today, another big game. Yeah. I mean, that guy, if he wouldn't have been injured last year, I believe he had 5 sacks last year. And he was
not part of the rotation.
Oh, yeah, he's for sure part of the rotation. And what's amazing about the Broncos edge group, with Cooper, with Benito, with Q Robinson now, with a guy like Jonah Ellis, and I'm missing somebody, and I'll figure it out here. But all I'm going to say, the guy from Savion Jones from LSU. Plus, you have Zach Allen and JFM on the defense, on the inside of the defensive end position, basically. I mean, you're talking about 5 legitimate rushers on every play that are going to attack the quarterback. I see major problems for Denver's opponents. When they drop back to pass, they're not going to have a lot of time. And that doesn't count any blitzes when you're going to be sending guys like Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain. You're going to be sending guys like, who am I thinking of? You're going to be sending guys like, who's our safety? Oh, Hufanga. Dre Greenlaw is going to be coming up the middle. Dre Greenlaw, by the way, is not human. Have you seen Dre Greenlaw?
Yeah,
dude, he can curl you. You're about 200 pounds, and literally he can curl you. I will say this. I'm excited, but I think the one thing you can say is, and this is what I believe in, and you told me this, nobody really knows anything the first 4 weeks of the year. You just don't know enough about it.
It's called the cab driver special,
right? Nobody,
I'll explain what the cab driver special
Don't bet the NFL the first 4 weeks of the year.
I'm going to tell you right now, to our listeners right now, I've gone to Vegas 100 times to go.
Just hang out. Yeah, and you're going again. Coming up.
Yes. Listen, Jeff. Listen.
Years from now.
Yeah, many years from now, Jeff.
Yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl in Vegas again.
Yeah, no, we're going to Santa Clara.
Yeah, okay. Well,
come on, man.
I'm confused. Go ahead.
Get it right. Point is the cab driver special is when there's not a lot of film. There's not a lot of activity.
There's no data.
There's no data where you can say
no scores.
I didn't know how they played last year or what they're doing this year.
Right.
Now they got data. All right. Now they got data, but you still have to wait 4 years. If you're a gambling degenerate.
4 games, not 4 years. But go ahead.
4 games. If you're a gambling degenerate and you want to watch the Broncos and you want to make some money off them, and I'm telling you this.
Wait a few weeks.
I'm tipping you this just to give you the exact how it breaks down. Listen, let them play because there's no tendencies. There's no film on it.
You're just saying nobody really knows who's anybody.
Nobody knows anything about the Broncos.
So we're also going to preview a little bit coming up in segment 2. We have Dr. Stano, our fantasy commissioner and our NHL analyst. Our draft is Monday. Look, if you're watching this, you know your draft is this week, right? Just about everyone in America, your draft is this week. Maybe you're bold and you go Monday, but sometime in the next 7 days, you're drafting.
Ours is Monday.
And ours is Monday, and I can't be more ready. And I'll tell you what, and Nick and Alex, I'll ask you both, without fantasy football, I mean, look, man, if you watch, say, a 2-10 Bears team versus a 2-10, I don't know, let's just say the New Orleans Saints, but you have 2 guys in the game, and it's week 15. That's what makes these games exciting, right? Or you have a bet on the game, right?
I think you have
gambling.
With fantasy football, you have to be very careful as far as how you pick.
Yeah,
I got the 4th overall pick. You got
I got 7th. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like, who do you draft? It doesn't matter. I mean, are you going to get a quarterback that might get hurt? Are you going to get a wide receiver that might be the number 1 receiver? Are you going to get a running back? But basically, after the 3rd or 4th round, dude, it's all crapshoot, man. You just go auto draft, right?
I mean,
go auto draft at that point and be like, because they rank it, and the way the system was.
They do rank it best player available.
AI, which I love AI.
Yeah.
With fantasy, they just tell you who to pick, right?
But see, I don't deal with that. I love going against AI. In other words, I want full control. Okay, good. Sorry, man. Brother. I want full
AI
control.
sometimes control your fantasy chip?
I mean, it gives me an idea. I don't always base my pick on it. I'll look at it and see what they think, and then I'll kind of
make my own decision. They gave you the best player available.
Well,
right?
It's like the NFL draft. You look at the best player available according to Mel Kiper. Just as an example.
Everybody's got their own board. I mean, come on, everybody's got their own board. Listen to me. AI. With all due respect,
can you let Nick finish his statement?
Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
It just proves what I'm saying. You can look at the magazine. You can look at whatever the draft has as the next best available, and it's just like listening to Mel Kiper. At some point, you have to make a decision for what you see and what you feel.
So I'm just going to tell you, the AI portion of it is just like it's there. It's data. It's just like these people that are hired to do analytics, and they're hired to do projections of everybody. Every single player has kind of a projection, and then you look at that, and then you still have to form your own draft board from that. I'm not one that just says, okay, that auto draft feature, because they don't also account for injured players, how many players you've already drafted at that position. You can use AI. I like Nick's idea. Use it as a tool, but it's still up to you. I'm the GM of the Denver 420s, not AI. And I think I'm better than AI.
Also, just so you know, it's Tuesday that the 53-man roster needs to be set.
So Tuesday what time?
4 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m.
2 p.m. Mountain.
I'm going to tell you, man, the Broncos are going to lose a lot of good football players this year. I really feel that other teams are going to pick up a lot of the Broncos players. I think the Broncos will lose about 5 or 6 guys. By the way, they've already lost some guys. Greg Dulcich, man, he's tearing it up for the Giants, man. 3 straight games for a touchdown. How long till he gets a hamstring injury? What week does Greg Dulcich go on the IR?
You can't look at it like that, man.
No, you got to. Yeah, but I hope the best for him. I do, but I mean, it's hard with the injuries. But he looked good, man.
Hey, real quick, Joey, we are down here right now at number 38.
Yeah, come on down.
There's a big party going on, and people are taking pictures, and they're like showing us like we're like some zoo animals here.
Yeah. Hey, and also a big arm wrestling tournament.
There was a big arm wrestling tournament. I didn't realize that was a professional league. It's called the professional.
Whatever it's called.
No. It's called the PRE.
Yeah.
Professional Wrestling Tournament, and these dudes are big. And it would
wrestling
be funny.
starts with the W. But go ahead.
Listen, I'm just telling you, man.
You're talking about wrestling.
I got it. I'm just laughing.
Nick, I took you down there.
I'm just making fun.
You down there, and I showed you what was going on. And
it wasn't bad. Are you ready? Are you going to go down there and wrestle that dude? You said you were going to arm wrestle that guy that we were talking to, and he was about 6'5". He was about 6'1".
His arms were bigger than my waist.
His arm was bigger than your leg. And that's kind of a scary thing. All right, hey, man. Okay, so we got about 15 minutes before we get to Dr. Stano. So let's go ahead and just go over this real quick. Friday, we're heading to see you. We're going to Boulder, and they're taking on Georgia Tech. And so I started scouting Georgia Tech, and they got a quarterback, man.
They beat Florida State last year, Jeff.
Right. But what I was going to say is, man, their quarterback was featured on College Scoreboard this morning. And I was watching this guy, man, number 10. And this guy's like 6'4", about 230. He's a beast, man. Let me tell you, don't sleep on Georgia Tech.
Do we have a starting quarterback that's been named yet?
No, and we were talking about this pregame. We don't know who it is yet, and I don't know if that's intentional or not.
Or is it Juju Lewis?
Well, I think they're going to win more games if it's Caden Salter. But why would you not name him already? If he was so much better than Juju Lewis, he would have already been named. I'm very concerned that they haven't named one.
I think Dion's concerned that if he doesn't name Juju Lewis a starter, that Juju Lewis could potentially
take off,
leave.
I agree. I think he will take off because look, isn't that the way the athletes are today?
He's got more LLCs and more companies.
Juju Lewis already has his own cup at Taco Bell.
Yeah. Juju Lewis.
Saw that.
That's ridiculously funny.
It was called the
Buffs box.
Box.
But you know what? So if he has that, okay, so and then he's going to be the backup quarterback. But hey, you're right. It could happen because look at Arch Manning. Finally getting a start this week, but 2 years at Texas. What did you say, Alex? Last year he made $5 billion, Arch Manning? No, I understand his name, but that's just the way of the world. It's not a different story. I just saw it today. One of the quarterbacks in the Kansas State-Iowa State game transferred from UNLV and was given to transfer $500,000 in NIL money. Now that's what are you going to do? I mean, how do you feel if you're UNLV? You can't even keep the dudes that play for you anymore.
There's a kid.
Funny, man.
There's a kid that plays at Villanova.
Funny.
Villanova. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, basketball or football?
Football.
Yeah, it's school and it's a college.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania.
I'm not sure what his name is. Can you go look him up real quick? He has a team.
Villanova's Division II, by the way, but go.
Doesn't matter. He's Vanderbilt. Maybe Vanderbilt.
It's Vanderbilt.
Sorry, Vanderbilt. Yeah, Vanderbilt.
Killing me, Smalls.
Come on, man. Help me out. Listen.
I can't read your mind.
Yeah, you can. Listen. He said, I could have stayed at the university where I'm at right now, or I could have got a $12 million transfer. For example, Quinn Ewers, who was the starting quarterback at the University of Texas last year. I forgot what team he's at right now in the NFL. He may not make the NFL team. He may not. I think he's – help me out. I'm not sure where he's at. Quentin Ewers. He was a starting quarterback.
Quentin Ewers, but go ahead.
Yeah. He was starting quarterback at Texas.
Yeah. We know he was in the national championship, the semifinals of the college football playoff.
Exactly. Now he's in the NFL. Now he's in the NFL.
Right.
And I don't believe he's going to make the team where he's at because he's been stinking up. He could have just transferred to another college.
Yeah, made it more NIL deal.
$12 million. Now he may not even get
But a lot of kids are going to do that. A lot of kids who are just like Quinn Ewers are going to look at him. And you know what I'm going to say? My dad, if I'm a dad,
in college.
You know what I'm going to tell my kid? I'm going to be like, look at Quinn Ewers. Right. I'll be like, don't quit. Get your degree and go to Minnesota. They're offering you $2 million. Yeah, $2 million is not a lot. You might get more in the NFL. But like you said, when you get cut, that's it. Once you get cut out of the NFL, you're heading to some other league, right? You're going to the Canadian League. You're going to go join the Colorado Spartans. You're not making, true or false, guys. Once you're out of Major League Sports and you're kind of on the way down, it's a rough road down. Stay in school. Use the NIL deals. If you have eligibility, I would stay in school 5 years. Some of these guys have 6-year eligibility because of COVID. Dude, stay in college. Get your degree, too. You may actually be able to do something with your life after college. And now with the NIL money, man, take advantage of it, right? I'd rather be a college kid with a hot girlfriend and a dorm room making $5 million driving. What did Shador drive last year? I think he had a black and gold Lamborghini. What's that other, a Bugatti?
He bought Jordan Seaton, the offensive tackle.
Yeah.
For CU.
Yeah.
A freaking Bugatti.
Bugatti, exactly. And those are $300,000 or $400,000 cars. That's ridiculous.
And I'm not going to get into that. But all I'm saying is, hey, listen, kids, if you want to.
So what's going to go on Friday? Let's talk a little bit about Friday. When we go up there, what are we going to see?
Well, first of all, I want to know who the starting quarterback is.
Diego Pavia is the Vanderbilt's quarterback.
There he is. That's the guy I was talking about. He was on the show with Buzz listeners, those guys from Barstool Sports.
Barstool Sports, yeah.
He was on. And
BuzzFeed. Yeah.
And he was on. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. Freaking awesome content. Listen, he was on and he said, hey, listen, I could have gone to another school. My mom handles all my NIL money. He said.
But he stayed at Vanderbilt.
He stayed at Vanderbilt because he believes in his team. But he could have gone to another school and made like $12 million. $12 million, Joe. He said that. And he didn't say what school, but it was an SEC school. He said, I'm not going to tell about it. And now he's at a school where hopefully it works out for him, and they go good. But at the end of the day,
I went to a ball game for the first time in 25 years last year.
Football is now a money business.
College football is never going to be the same. And by the way, the NCAA has lost all control of college football. Now the NCAA, it's only a matter of time before
Mark Johnson from the Colorado.
Hold on, man. Listen to me.
Buffalo said,
listen to me real quick.
Wild West.
Can you hold on? Can I speak? Look, all I'm trying to get at is this. We're going to wake up one day and there's not going to be any more Big 10. There's not going to be any more Big 12. The top 50 schools or maybe 75 schools are going to go take all this money and they're going to play basically minor league football. It's already happening. And the other schools like CSU and Montana State and all that, they're going to play university football, kind of like club teams are now. It's going to be two separate games. Right now, Alabama versus Appalachian State. Right. If you got a good guy on Appalachian State, if I see your quarterback's good and I'm one of the coaches at Alabama, you know what I do? I call up, I'll be like, hey, I found our new quarterback for next year. Watch him. And then I go give him a check for $150.
Why do you think Nick Saban said, I'm done?
Right, because they're poaching players off teams. These guys don't have a chance to get good anymore. You're not going to have these Cinderella teams because all the good players are going to get bought up by all the big programs.
And that's just football.
Didn't you say Ohio State had like $56 million to spend on players every year?
That was
their budget, right?
No, that was their alumni money.
Right.
Allocating to teams and in sports and stuff like that.
$56 million. You think? And now maybe CU's got some money now because of Coach Prime, but they don't have $56 million.
It'll never be that way.
And it's not. And I'll tell you who doesn't have it for sure is Northwestern and Indiana University. I'm going to say this: college football needs a complete makeover. I agree the guys should get paid. More power to them. But let's try and have some kind of system where, hey, if you're a quarterback, you get this. If you're a lineman, you get this. If you're a player, that just is on the bench, you get this. But right now, it's wild, wild west. Anybody could be poached off any team. All right, we got about 6 minutes left in this segment. We are going to talk about the next 2 weeks for the Denver Broncos. I'm going to ask you and Nick just one question, all right? All right, what happens to an NFL team during these 2 weeks? All right, there's no more preseason games. What are the priorities over the next 2 weeks for the Denver Broncos? I'll start with Alejandro. What do they do? It's got to be the boringest time in the world, right?
No, I think it's got to be one of the most serious time in the world for the Broncos. I think the Broncos now, with September 7th being the home opener,
versus the Titans,
and you look at it now as a team that has to make decisions, real tough decisions, that are going to let players go.
These next 48 hours are important, aren't they?
When's that cut off? When's that?
Tuesday.
8
a.m. Tuesday, 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Tuesday.
You know how many guys are going to go on the street, man?
A lot.
How many? So 32 teams minus.
And there's 32 players each that are going to get cut. So that's about 900. It's about 1,000 players.
And at that point, your GM skills need to kick in and be like, all right. So now,
do you trust George Payton?
I do.
I do. Do you, Nick?
I do. Yeah. I think they're going to. A lot of the guys are going to pawn off the Broncos, and a lot of the guys that go on the practice team will also have an opportunity to make a team. So, like a guy like Andre Estime, all right? So
Andre Estime.
I think he's going to make a team. But what they should have done with that guy, for example, we could have traded him. Okay, Notre Dame, big fullback, strong running back, young guy. They could have done something with him besides leaving him on the wire. Now they didn't play him in the preseason. What he got? Yeah, last quarter stats. He got a touchdown, had some carries in the fourth quarter against some guys. They're going to be selling insurance next week. That's a guy maybe George Payton should have said, you know what, man, we should not have played you. Maybe we could have used you as a trade, like Bailey, for example. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of movements, a lot of moving parts. There's no way the Broncos can keep all these running backs and the wide receivers and think that they're going to be successful because other teams are looking at what the Broncos are doing. And to be honest with you, I think the Broncos are doing a great job, Nick. And they have a lot of talent that people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him. And
well, one thing I want to chime in is that with the injury to Blake Watson in the fourth quarter, I think that bodes well for Audric Estime. I mean, that is a guy that may open up a roster spot because
does he play special teams?
He has been, yes. The last 2 weeks, Audric Estime has been on the special team. So that's what I think they basically told him, you play special teams or we're cutting you. And he has been on there the last 2 weeks. He did not play special teams last year. You're right.
How severe is that injury?
Well, we don't know yet. It hasn't been reported yet. It looked like Blake Watson, it was a knee injury. So I don't want to speculate, but all I'm saying is if that's a 4 to 6 week injury, or a season-ending injury, that's an open roster spot for a guy like Audric Estime. Alex, you're right, though. They're not going to sneak him through the practice squad. Somebody is going to pick him up. And I'm going to tell you this. We got about 2 minutes left. I like where the team's headed, but nobody knows anything yet. I mean, throw the last 3 weeks out as far as I'm concerned. None of this stuff mattered one bit. The main thing is we didn't lose any of the players for the year. We didn't have any devastating injuries, guys that couldn't be replaced. That happens all the time. There's already been several teams that lost key contributors, guys that, the Rams, Matthew Stafford's is bad, man. No Matthew Stafford. That's a whole different team.
What does Nick Sirianni do?
With the Eagles?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I mean, Nick Sirianni's got a machine. Nick Sirianni can sit back and have a beer and kind of drink a shot of Suavecito and kind of pretend like he's coaching somebody because that's a machine, bro. That's a machine. The Eagles are a machine.
That offensive line is a machine.
Right. I mean, hand it to Saquon or have Jalen run it or do the tush push. I mean, Nick Sirianni, he's kind of funny. He reminds me of a guy on Sesame Street.
I'm asking you a question, Joe. Don't get upset.
I'm not. Well, you can't. I'm not defending Nick Sirianni. I think he's funny. I like it.
I look at that guy. I'm like,
championship coach.
Wow. I'm like, and our good buddy Sean Payton, who I love. He's just, I adore Sean Payton.
Yeah.
He made me a meme now. Just saying.
Hey, it's all gravy.
But it's okay. It's water under the bridge. But you know what? Listen. You are not Nick Sirianni, Coach Sean Payton.
No, Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni, 2 Super Bowl appearances in the last 4 years.
Exactly.
So I would say this. Excuse me, in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So, I think Nick Sirianni and the Eagles.
Nick Sirianni would ever say, hey, you little internet shows, you guys can't be doing this stuff.
No, because Nick Sirianni's kind of a modern guy.
He's got class.
Well, not only that, the world's changed. Guys like Sean Payton, it's kind of passed him by as far as the media. He still wants to be the show. Win some football games this year, Sean. Win a playoff game, and then, we'll be a lot happier. We may be little internet shows, but you know what? Why don't you win a little playoff game? Okay, how about that?
Whoa, Joey.
All right, win a little playoff game. And well, listen, man, if you can't win a playoff game, you're up at the podium talking Super Bowl.
Why does it look like we have like a bunch of cheerleaders outside?
Well, I love it, man, and we do because we have a ton of events going on right here at number 38 on 36th and Chestnut. Come on down, hang out with us, grab a beer. We'll buy you a beer. Come hang out with Nick, our producer, and El Guapo Suavecito and me. We'll talk some football. Hey, when we get back, our great friend, Dr. Stano. It's fantasy football time. Do you have your draft board ready?
Nope.
We do,
Nope,
Dr. Stano. What is it, the El Chapos? We will see whether the El Chapos will come through, the Denver 420s or the Sacky Gleasons. Who's going to take down the league this year? We'll find out next. And who's the number one pick in the draft this year? We'll find that out as well when you return to the final word on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel.
My name is Anthony with Plunge Plus Plumbing. We've been in business for 16 years. We service from Longmont to Castle Rock and everywhere in between. We specialize in service work, underground sewers, water heaters, drain cleaning, faucet repair. If it's in your home, we fix it. We also ensure that our customer service is top notch and customer satisfaction is our utmost priority. Our motto is honest service, honest price. We're not going to sell you a bunch of stuff that you don't need or that you don't want. We'll just take care of the issue at hand and be on our way. Most of the time we can get there same day. If you need plumbing, give us a shout. 720-434-5832. Or you can reach us on our website at plungeplus.com. We are proud sponsors of The Final Word.
My name is Anthony Mayer, owner and founder of Game Time PDR. We're located in north part of Denver, 6825 Broadway, pretty much on Highway 36 and I-25. So we specialize in repairing hail damaged vehicles. My technicians have special rods, and the goal is to get the tools underneath the dents. And with the special lights and the angles, they're able to actually massage the metal back to factory standards. We offer a done-for-you service from top to bottom. Literally, the customer doesn't have to do anything. They bring their vehicle to us. We get them under our specialty lights. We write up an estimate, submit them to the insurance, get it approved from the insurance, get it in production, get it washed up, and get it back to the customer. We do waive deductibles up to $1,000, and anybody that mentions the Colorado Spartans, we're giving them a $200 gift card. Go Spartans!
Spartans! What is your profession?
Spartans never retreat. Spartans never surrender.
This is Sparta!
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Foss, the owner and maker of Suavecito Tequila. Suavecito Tequila is unique from any other tequila for three main reasons. The first one is my agave farm in Mexico. It's an hour and a half south of Guadalajara, and it's up in the mountains at a 7,000-foot altitude. So we have mountain-grown agave. Americans hear about mountain-grown coffee and mountain-grown grapes. They never hear about mountain-grown agave, okay? Only 8 or 9% of all tequilas are made with Highlands agave, and it's superior to Lowlands agave. Number two, I extra age my tequilas. To be a reposado, it has to be stored in a barrel for 2 months. I keep it there for 9 months. The añejo has to be in the barrel 1 year. I keep it 2 years. The extra añejo has to be in the barrel 3 years. I age it 5 years. That extra aging just gives it more body, more texture, and more flavor. And last but not least, we're the only tequila that adds 2% agave nectar back into the tequila. This little bit of agave nectar eliminates the burn going down your throat. Makes Suavecito Tequila the smoothest tequila you will ever drink.
With millions of page views every year, ColoradoPreps.com is the #1 source for the high school sports community to keep up with the latest news and scores. From football and volleyball to basketball and softball, ColoradoPreps.com provides a year-round hub for coaches, friends, and family to stay connected to their favorite schools and athletes, and keep an eye on their rivals. Covering high school sports from the peaks to the plains, you always get the latest at ColoradoPreps.com.
All right, Joe Rico, Alex Ramirez back at the final word.
Oh, look at that guy.
And it is time, of course.
Oh, put your glasses on.
Infamous Dr. Stano, our man, normally our NHL insider, but also doubles as our fantasy football commissioner. And it is certainly fantasy football time. Well, we're going to find out in a minute. Let me introduce him, please. Fantasy football commissioner and NHL analyst, Dr. Stano. And Dr. Stano, the Gridiron Legends. We are back on Monday. Our draft is here. Thanks so much for making time for us.
Man, right there.
Yeah, he is, man. Handsome guy. And Stano, you know, man, with the draft being on Monday, man, how's your draft prep going? And thanks for joining us. It looks like you're kind of cruising around right now.
Yeah, I'm out running a couple errands today. It's one of the last weekends, right? It's still summer, so got to get my summer on. But no, I haven't even really thought about fantasy football yet, Joe. I haven't done any homework. I don't think you guys need to either. Just kind of wing it. I think that's the strategy this year for you guys.
Scam artist. We're not buying that one, Alex. You know he's already done 50 mock drafts.
See how he just put his sunglasses on his eyes?
He doesn't want to be identified.
You know what? I've been gathering my football porn now for a couple months. When those magazines comes out, back in the old day before internets and stuff.
Yeah.
That was a day when I could see the projections and stuff for fantasy football. Yeah. Oh my God, that was almost as cool as the day that the Sears catalog came out when I was a kid.
Oh my God, you're dating yourself. Now that's Dr. Stano, our NHL insider since day one, over 13 years.
Day one from day one.
Day one from day one. I don't care. Like we always talk about, God bless Barry Melrose' soul, but you used to be the guy you still are the guy that talks to us about hockey. And we're not going to talk about hockey today. We're going to talk about
fantasy football,
fantasy football and our draft.
2 days away.
We're on the 25th this Monday. I got the codes. I got the usernames. I got everything ready to go. And this has been the Gridiron League. Is that what it's called?
The Gridiron Legends.
Gridiron Legends League. Right. And it's been a big part of your family with Ryan and your late father. Everybody that has been part of this. And I just want to tell you, I'm excited because this year we upped the ante a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little $50
more. 10 times twice as much.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more intriguing.
Yeah.
It's not about the money, though. It's never about the achievement.
It's never about the money. It's about carrying the trophy. First of all, brother, I want to tell you, I love you. I have nothing but great wishes to your family, your daughter, your son, everybody. I just want to tell you I love you and thank you for letting me be a part again for your amazing your draft. This is something that I look forward to every year, brother.
Yeah, it's really something that I look forward to too. I get to talk to people like old friends and stuff that have been in the league for 10 years or more. But the only time I really get to talk to them is around the draft and fantasy football, that sort of stuff. So it's making memories. Everybody gets to tell me every year that I suck and how I'm never going to get there. I feel, Joe, who'd you say I was like Marv Levy? I'm the Marv Levy.
Marty Schottenheimer.
Marty Schottenheimer.
He's never won the championship.
Maybe Brian Schottenheimer.
No. So, this is the year for the Sacky Gleasons, I think.
It is, man, and I'm rooting for him. I root for the El Chapos. I root for the 420s.
Joey, but if you
I root for everybody other than what is Ryan's team name? Because Ryan's in it every year, so you almost have to.
Him and his wife. Seriously, I think they collude.
There's collusion going on.
What's funny, Joey? Here's real quick.
Hebrew Hammers.
The evolution
collusion.
the evolution of fantasy football. I remember when I was first invited to the league, we actually had to go to a draft, a bar, or sit there, and we actually put our names on, like, all right, you're up, Joe. You're up, Alex. You're up, Dr. Stano. And then we'd have to put our names on a freaking board. Dude, everything's changed so much with, like, the technology.
Automation, AI.
Now it's like, dude, just want to go AI, and to get all our knucklehead buddies
organized,
to get that was like a task, man. It took you like 3 or 4 days. Nope, I'm in Vegas. It's my birthday. I can't do this. I can't do that. So we finally figured out a day.
Yeah,
how hard was that for you, Commissioner, to get everybody online and get everybody on the same page, man?
Yeah, it's like herding cats, right? And you know what? Football starts right after the holiday weekend too. So everybody's out of town. Everybody's going to weddings and stuff. And we just put a little bit earlier this year. And I think if you go to a bar right now, you're going to see people sitting there with their computers and stuff and doing drafts for themselves. So
old school.
It's a good time of year. It's they should make a national holiday out of opening day for football too.
Well, I think that there should be, and the thing is, Alex is right. I mean, the time to draft has also changed. Our first draft lasted about 5.5, 6 hours.
Well,
people went to their car.
That also had
there was
10
some breaks
of beer.
Yeah, I understand.
5 bottles of whiskey.
Maybe some 420, possibly. I mean, of course, I would never partake, but others were.
It was like a 10-hour draft.
I mean, all I remember is they thought that I believe the fire department. Now, the fire department was called outside of my house because there was a lot of smoke outside my backyard. We'll just leave it at that. But you know what? I love fantasy football.
I do too.
And it's a lot of fun for me. I don't really care about the actual money, but I want the trophy. And I'm going to be coming for the trophy. I mean, I still haven't gotten over a couple years ago. I started off undefeated. I think I was 10-0. And, I finished like 12, I think with 2 losses, my all-time best team. And I got ousted. I think it was by Ryan or Brittany, or I can't remember who it was, but that was the year the Gleasons had the second best record in the league.
What was your last pick? Nobody cares about your last pick.
Let me say
Here's the thing about fantasy football for us.
Yeah.
Sports guys that we have to have a show every Sunday. What I love more about fantasy football is the injury report. Understanding who's playing, who's not playing.
Yeah, that's true.
And
who's suspended, who's arrested.
Or who got arrested or whatever. At the end of the day, you actually have to know who's playing. And I think where the real strategic part about fantasy football is how you trade, who you pick up on a waiver, because the guy might have an injury. The guy may not be playing this week. The guy might be, like you said, he might be arrested, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you're on top of that, and I usually am not, which this year I'm going to be, because I have I signed up with ESPN
Plus.
Yeah, ESPN Plus. There's a guy that I forgot his name. He hooks up with James Palmer, Joey, our buddy.
Okay.
And he just tells you, hey, listen, man, these are the guys that went on injured reserve tonight. And I'm not trying to cheat the whole system.
Everybody's got their player, their system.
But you also have to understand, like, if I'm not sure that Audric Estime is not going to start for the Broncos on Sunday, and I don't find that out until game day, I'm at a disadvantage, brother. So it's important for us as sports guys that we have to do a show. We can't just like, hey, Troy Renck, what do you think about Devon Bailey? Or he's like, well, he's not on the Broncos anymore, or he's not playing. So I think from that standpoint, and I love the fantasy standpoint, yeah, the money's not even the issue. It's about understanding the game, and bragging rights is always so much better because we talk a lot of crap during the week. Oh my God, did you just make that trade? Oh my God, who is Dr. Stano? Who is Dr. Stano allowing this to happen? And I think there's a commissioner that allows trades that can and can't go through the system, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, you know what? In our league, we always got somebody who's complaining about something. You guys are always belly aching, and you're like little girls. So we vote on it. So it's going to take a consortium. Is that the word, consortium? Of a maximum of 6 people to turn down a trade, right? So you got to get the vote on that, and then you can't point the finger at me and say, "How come? I don't." That's not my deal.
You can curse on the show.
I will say this. We're not on the radio anymore. You can say whatever you want. But
fuck, whatever you want to say.
Hey, calm down. Okay, so I will say this. The one thing that really has been not part of our league the last couple of years are trades. I haven't seen it. There wasn't a whole lot. I remember a few years back, there were like 6 trades before, week 4, and a couple of them were questionable. There was a lot of controversy. And so I think this last year, there were probably the fewest trades I've seen in the league. Not that there weren't any, but I think it was far more waiver wire acquisitions last year than actual trades.
I agree, Joe.
This year, I think we're going to get back to some of these blockbuster deals. I know the 420s will be in a dealing mood this year.
Hold on.
Stano, we got him on we got this, guy.
No, but who proves it besides Dr. Stano?
Well, everybody can vote on it. That's what he just said. And if more than 6 people oppose it, the trade doesn't go through. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. Everybody gets to vote on it. It takes a day. If you don't vote, then I'm okay with it. But
can the commissioner veto it without the vote?
Kind of like the NFL, man, a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sure there's a button where I could veto it, but for the most part, everybody's been pretty respectful. And I've seen leagues like Ryan's in a league where there's blatant collusion between 2 people at the end of the year, so they kicked them out of the league. They're like, come on, you're ruining it for everybody. It's supposed to be fun. It's for bragging rights. $100. $1,000 for the pot that's a good deal, but we're doing it because we're pals, man, and because we like football and we want to pay attention to some teams probably too that we ordinarily wouldn't.
Well, let's just say the money that I won would go to a lot different things than what it would have gone to go to 20 years ago. I'll just be completely honest. I needed that 20 years ago.
Rick Neuheisel, who used to be the university head coach of CU,
he got busted for this.
And UCLA. No, hold on, man. He didn't got busted for nothing.
Yeah,
I know his sisters.
He had a $30,000 buy-in in Las Vegas where he'd have like a few Pac-10, Pac-12 coaches that would show up for the weekend, and it was like a weekend deal, man. Think about it. 30 G's to get in, Joey. Think about that.
Well, he didn't get busted for that, but Neuheisel got in a little trouble. He got a little wrist slap on some stuff,
listen,
but hey, it's good. I still like that.
That's a real.
I like Rick Neuheisel.
Our stuff's not real.
He handed out popsicles. But get mad at the guy.
Listen, when you're throwing 30,000 times 10, that's a $300,000.
That's $300,000 pop.
At Christmas
time. So
who
wins that? One guy won that?
At Christmas time.
Can I get in his league?
Hold on. At Christmas time, how nice it is to get the last week of the season. Like in our league, you get like a $700, payout, and Dr. Stano pays it out. We buy Venmo with cash, whatever. But think about Coach
it'll be more this year.
It'll be a little more. But I'm talking about like Neuheisel when he did it.
You got like 30,000.
I think he did get busted for that.
Yeah, you got. I think that what happened is they said he couldn't do that and still be part of the NCAA. But now it doesn't matter.
Be broadcasting on CBS.
Yeah, he couldn't be broadcasting. But you know what? Nobody cares anymore. Now that's the least of anybody's worries. People are laying bread in the locker room at halftime.
Fantasy football is a $1 billion sport. Dr. Stano, talk about that.
Yeah, you know what? It's spawned a lot of industries too. Like you said, all the people are coming out with books and websites and podcasts. It's a $1 billion industry. So, it's got to be. And not to mention what they do with daily fantasy, right? They have the daily fantasies where you can build your team and try to win money and stuff. So football is made for gambling. Football is made for having a good time. But deep down, if it weren't for gambling, more people would be paying attention to baseball for sure. And, the way football is laid out with the scoring system and everything, it just lends itself great to gambling. And, I'm all for it. I've laid down a couple bets here and there. I'm not very good at it, but, I'm not against it.
I think that it's very big. Hold on. I just want to say one thing. This is big for YouTube. When we're watching the games and gambling's involved, there's just more intensity watching the game. I mean, when you got $100 on something, you're way more passionate about the results of that game than just, hey, the Bears are playing the Falcons. Well, it's good. You want the Bears to win. But if you can win $250, or some of my friends betting $1,000 a game.
When you got some skin in the game,
$1,000 makes it.
Hey, listen, that makes your game a little more interesting.
When you win $1,000 in Vegas, you can't tell me that that's not the most exciting crap. I mean, you consider the sports book and win $7,000 on 7 football games. I'm watching every play. I'm glued to my seat.
Those are called parlays.
Parlays, yeah. Well, you just bet. I bet individual games. I don't bet parlays.
All I'm saying, though, one time I went to Vegas, right? A long time ago, Chris Estes. This was like when the Browns had become, they just got sold by
the Ravens.
The Browns.
Modell?
Arthur, what was his name?
Modell.
Modell.
Yep.
I remember I was at the Stratosphere with Chris Estes, and this guy, we were at the Stratosphere. And this guy it was the first game against Tennessee, I believe. It was a Monday night or Sunday night game, and he put $10,000 on the game for them to win. And Chris and I were sitting there. We were like 29, 30 years old, and his wife and him just got to the casino, and they lost. And I just remember like watching his wife just go nuclear on him about betting a stupid bet on that. And I was like, damn, I don't ever want to be that dude again. But that's not how fantasy football works, though.
No,
fantasy football works as an ongoing, it's a week-to-week thing. And it's not like that. You're like, oh, well, I'm going to lose a lot of money. No, you can if you want to be like these high roller guys. But at the end of the day, Dr. Stano, it's a very innocent, it's a cool game. You could you're cracking everybody like, oh God, look at that.
Well, you're betting one time, man. You're only betting once, and you get
Correct.
16 weeks of fun for that. It's not like you have a slot machine where you're throwing something 17 weeks. And actually, if you count, 17 weeks of good fun, and you get to hang out with your pals. It's $150
and the last 3 weeks
$100.
Playoffs and Super Bowl.
Well, and then it's more fun for these games that maybe you would never watch.
But what I was saying is I never want to be that dude that was in Vegas with having his wife yell at me about.
I'm going in 4 days. I'll be back there, and I'm going to tell you, the first time we were there about 15 years ago with all the kids, and there was a couple fighting. Just like you said, and the lady's like, I'm out of here. She threw the wedding ring. The guy had lost $7,000 at the crap table. They didn't even have money to get home. And so, it's different kind of gambling. My wife's fine with me joining 2 fantasy leagues, dropping $200 a year and getting to have fun all the way to February.
Me, I don't want to be a part of 2 fantasy leagues. I want to be part of one. I want to focus on one league. I can't depend on, what am I doing with the
I think 2 is okay.
Hey, Ryan, son.
Yeah, he's in 2. Is Ryan in more than 2 or just 2?
Listen, guys, my seriousness.
Ryan's a professional fantasy player.
My seriousness is on the Gridiron League. That's it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, one league, man. That's all I can do.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Dr. Stano. I just want to talk about that. By the way, let's flip it over real quick to hockey.
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes low. Listen, man, a lot of stuff happened in the offseason. Bednar did not get fired. I don't know how that didn't happen. What are your thoughts on the Avs right now moving forward? I know we got Captain. Is he going to be back in the flow again as part of a regular guy who's going to be part of the team? What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Stano? You've been our NHL analyst for the last
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah. Let me just start by saying this. I'm going to apologize for the last 3 years. I think I've been an Avalanche apologist, if you will. This is the last year of their window, and if they screw this up, they got to win it all this year, or it's going to be another 10 years before they're back to where they are now. They better do something, and they better make the moves they need to do, and they need to do whatever it takes to cash in this year, because nothing but winning it all is going to be acceptable to fan base here.
Hold on. Can a guy who actually watches hockey comment? Okay,
I'm just asking.
I get it. Jordan Pippen on the same team. Listen to me. First of all, you need more than Jordan and Pippen to win the cup. You need Jordan, Pippen, and about 3 other All-Stars.
Luke Longley. Don't forget Luke.
Yeah, the NHL is deep, but what I will say about the Avalanche, their core, that cute little young core that everybody said, 5-7 years ago, hey, they have time. 5 of the last 6 years, they've been out in the second round or before, and they have 1 cup to show for all this talent. Well, McKinnon is over 30 years old. Landeskog is in the last few years of his career. Yeah, I understand. Nice comeback. So I agree. It's all or nothing this year for the Colorado Avalanche. It is their year as we sit back and watch supermodels walk by. I love that. So I do want to say that the Colorado Avalanche is somebody that absolutely needs to show up big time in order for us to, hoist the cup again. I think the Avalanche have a chance to do it. Stano,
right.
They have the talent, right? I mean, you've got Cale Makar, you have Netches, you have Nathan McKinnon, you have Gabriel Landeskog, you have some of the greatest players in the world.
You have 2 good goalies this year. No excuses. No excuses.
Yeah, exactly, too, as well. So I do think we got about 2 minutes left before we go to break, and we may have some other guests on the program here coming up. So I was going to say we have about 2 minutes left. Give me your first thought. I mean, no predictions. It's way too early. Do the Avalanche have the talent to make a run for the Stanley Cup? Because I believe they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Problem is, just about everybody else in their division does too. So, they're coming out of a tough division. They're going to need some luck. They're going to need some luck with injuries and stuff. But yeah, they have the talent. They have exactly everything that's going to take. So, like I said, no excuses this year, guys.
Sure if you're watching what you're seeing.
Cash your money. Put all your chips in.
In the studio, and they're saying that the Chicago Blackhawks. And could you tell them where you're from, Stano?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
He's from Chicago, Illinois. That's right. He's from Chicago, Illinois. He would agree with you that the Blackhawks
Dr. Stano,
are also.
Dr. Stano, we got some supermodels who just walked in on our podcast.
Yeah.
Hold on. What's your name?
Riley. Okay. Hey, that's not like the Riley on Inside Out. I mean, it's a whole different story. All right. Hey, listen. Hey, Stano, we love you, man. We are ready. Big. Are you going to come down for our opening day party September 7th? We got free tequila shots for everyone in the place. Suavecito Tequila will be here. Free gift cards to Los Dos Patrios, free gift cards to Vinola's Italian Market. We are going to blow this place up. We're getting it all kicked off at 11 a.m. Bring your ass down here for sure, and bring as many of your friends as you want. Is that fair enough?
Right on, guys. Yeah, I like to party, right? You heard that, right?
I got your first shot, no problem.
Hold on real quick.
If you're listening, I got your first shot.
You guys say Mile High Sports, the final word? Mile High
Sports, the final word.
I love it. All right, Stano, we will talk to you next week, man.
By some
this
fans.
is amazing, Stano. We will talk to you next week, brother. Love you, man. All right, guys. Stano, we are going to get ready to go to break. And when we get back from break, we are going to be joined by Troy Renck from the Denver Post. He's going to talk to you about today's preseason game. Bo Nix was on fire. The Broncos win 28-19, and the regular season gets started on Monday or on Thursday, September 4th. We'll be back.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Foss, the owner and maker of Suavecito Tequila. Suavecito Tequila is unique from any other tequila for three main reasons. The first one is my agave farm in Mexico. It's an hour and a half south of Guadalajara, and it's up in the mountains at a 7,000-foot altitude. So we have mountain-grown agave. Americans hear about mountain-grown coffee and mountain-grown grapes. They never hear about mountain-grown agave, okay? Only 8 or 9% of all tequilas are made with Highlands agave, and it's superior to Lowlands agave. Number two, I extra age my tequilas. To be a reposado, it has to be stored in a barrel for 2 months. I keep it there for 9 months. The añejo has to be in the barrel 1 year. I keep it 2 years. The extra añejo has to be in the barrel 3 years. I age it 5 years. That extra aging just gives it more body, more texture, and more flavor. And last but not least, we're the only tequila that adds 2% agave nectar back into the tequila. This little bit of agave nectar eliminates the burn going down your throat. Makes Suavecito Tequila the smoothest tequila you will ever drink.
My name is Anthony with Plunge Plus Plumbing. We've been in business for 16 years. We service from Longmont to Castle Rock and everywhere in between. We specialize in service work, underground sewers, water heaters, drain cleaning, faucet repair. If it's in your home, we fix it. We also ensure that our customer service is top notch and customer satisfaction is our utmost priority. Our motto is honest service, honest price. We're not going to sell you a bunch of stuff that you don't need or that you don't want. We'll just take care of the issue at hand and be on our way. Most of the time we can get there same day. If you need plumbing, give us a shout. 720-434-5832. Or you can reach us on our website at plungeplus.com. We are proud sponsors of The Final Word.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Spartans never retreat. Spartans never surrender.
This is Sparta!
My name is Anthony Mayer, owner and founder of Game Time PDR. We're located in north part of Denver, 6825 Broadway, pretty much on Highway 36 and I-25. So we specialize in repairing hail damaged vehicles. My technicians have special rods, and the goal is to get the tools underneath the dents. And with the special lights and the angles, they're able to actually massage the metal back to factory standards. We offer a done-for-you service from top to bottom. Literally, the customer doesn't have to do anything. They bring their vehicle to us. We get them under our specialty lights. We write up an estimate, submit them to the insurance, get it approved from the insurance, get it in production, get it washed up, and get it back to the customer. We do waive deductibles up to $1,000, and anybody that mentions the Colorado Spartans, we're giving them a $200 gift card. Go Spartans!
With millions of page views every year, ColoradoPreps.com is the #1 source for the high school sports community to keep up with the latest news and scores. From football and volleyball to basketball and softball, ColoradoPreps.com provides a year-round hub for coaches, friends, and family to stay connected to their favorite schools and athletes, and keep an eye on their rivals. Covering high school sports from the peaks to the plains, you always get the latest at ColoradoPreps.com.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Foss, the owner and maker of Suavecito Tequila. Suavecito Tequila is unique from any other tequila for three main reasons. The first one is my agave farm in Mexico. It's an hour and a half south of Guadalajara, and it's up in the mountains at a 7,000 foot altitude. So we have mountain-grown agave. Americans hear about mountain-grown coffee and mountain-grown grapes. They never hear about mountain-grown agave, okay? Only 8 or 9% of all tequilas are made with Highlands agave, and it's superior to Lowlands agave. Number two, I extra age my tequilas. To be a reposado, it has to be stored in a barrel for 2 months. I keep it there for 9 months. The añejo has to be in the barrel 1 year. I keep it 2 years. The extra añejo has to be in the barrel 3 years. I age it 5 years. That extra aging just gives it more body, more texture, and more flavor. And last but not least, we're the only tequila that adds 2% agave nectar back into the tequila. This little bit of agave nectar eliminates the burn going down your throat. Makes Suavecito Tequila the smoothest tequila you will ever drink.
This is blasphemy. This is madness.
Spartans! What is your profession?
This is blasphemy. This is madness. Spartans never retreat. Spartans never surrender.
This is Sparta!
Here we go.
You're back.
Here we go. We're back.
We are back on the final word. Joe Rico, Alex Ramirez. We're on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am so excited to have our great friend, Troy Renck from the Denver Post.
And we got some girls from Chicago.
Right. Well, we have a lot of guests in the studio. Oh, we don't have Troy yet. So hold on. Troy should be coming on here any minute. So give us about 1 minute. Troy should be ready. Let's go live YouTube. Okay, he is logging on right now. Do we have him? Keep talking. Right, okay, well, we're just live YouTube. So anyway, let's start with a recap real quick of the Broncos game as we wait for Troy to come on. And, I will tell you, Alex, there were no surprises in today's game. Bo Nix looked good.
Yeah.
The Broncos looked good, and they should have because they were playing one of the worst teams in the NFL in the New Orleans Saints. So I don't think that we can really gauge anything
they're not the Chicago Bears or the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I will say the Chicago Bears and the Kansas City Chiefs.
We got some friends that are visiting.
Yeah, they have definitely. We have a bunch of people who have come out here. Please come down to number 38, right on 36th and Chestnut.
Yep.
We are looking at probably 300 or 400 people. Make this your home for each and every NFL Sunday.
Go over to the other side.
As we are praying that Troy does arrive that rescues us here from this one. Hey, Nate, he's saying he doesn't have the link, Nick. You want to resend that?
He's on.
No, there he is. Troy, there he is. Hey, all right. Troy Renck from the Denver Post. He has found the link, and we are here in live YouTube. Troy, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm glad you found the link. We were doing a little bit of a fire drill, but let's start a little bit. Let's start by talking about today's Denver Broncos New Orleans Saints preseason game. The Broncos win 28-19. And, I don't know exactly what you surmised that they got out of this game. I think the best thing I can say is the preseason is over, and this football team on offense, I think that they kind of got some much needed movement from Bo Nix. I think the first team offense with their 3 drives and 2 scoring drives, I thought it was very important. I don't think Bo looked very good in week 1. I also thought it was telling that Jared Stidham did not play in the game, and they gave all the reps after that to Sam Ehlinger. What were your thoughts on the game, and thanks for joining us this afternoon?
Yeah, they needed to get momentum offensively. The original plan was for that first-string offense to play 8 to 10 plays. They end up playing like 19 plays, and that's because, Sean Payton wanted to see them gain some traction. And it was even greasy on that drive, but they got a penalty, they got a boost, and then it basically became the Bo Nix, the Cortland Sutton show. They looked like they were in midseason form. Nix's overall numbers ended up good, but most of them went to Sutton. He was 4 catches, 83 yards, and I think Bo had 110. So my concern is that this offense that we've seen so far in training camp has a striking resemblance to last year's offense where they're really Cortland Sutton dependent. Now, they're going to feature Evan Ingram more. They didn't show much from him, and J.K. Dobbins essentially didn't play in the preseason. And so we'd hope the running attack was better. But I like the fact they got momentum, Joe, and that last drive for the starters. And my one takeaway from the entire preseason in terms of the offense is hopefully they get the running game going because it's been promised to be better. They have better players in R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. But outside of a few moments in the joint practices, we have not seen the run game, much improved, and that's going to be huge, not against the Titans, but when you go on the road against the Colts, and certainly if you're going to beat the Chargers in LA, you got to be able to run the football. You got to be able to run the football to beat good teams, and last year they were 2-7 against playoff teams. So preseason, they're undefeated, a lot of positive vibes, but both starters on offense and defense, clearly a little bit of hiccups, and offensively they need to start running the ball better early in the season.
You are watching and listening to Troy Renck from the Denver Post on Mile High Sports Radio. He has his own podcast here on the station, milehighsports.com. Troy, I watched the game, man, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, Bo, was kind of stretching a little bit of the field. You get that pass to Sutton for that touchdown. And, here's the problem with preseason games. Everybody over analyzes one throw or it becomes too much. At the same time, it's like, well, he didn't do this. He didn't do that. Listen, guys, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, especially, and I always told you, Troy, we told you the crab driver special. This is going to take a few weeks for these guys to get in a funk, right? They're not just right away just going to get in there and sink. Even with Lamar or Josh Allen or any of the players that are superstars, it's going to take a minute to get these guys in the sync. And I think that's starting to happen a little bit. Yeah, I did see some real positive stuff. But at the end of the day, though, Troy, I mean, you're pretty happy with the team. I mean, I'm not like discontent with them not playing the way they should have played. I mean, we expected what they were going to play today, right? I mean, is that?
Yeah, I mean, other than, again, those first two drives not going well offensively was disappointing because it looked a lot like San Francisco. But it's, again, like you said, and you phrased it, the preseason, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count, but it matters. How much it matters is certainly a subject of debate. You want to get some momentum. And they didn't look terrible. Like, that would be a concern if Bo Nix was out here throwing picks and doing things that were atypical of what we saw last year. That's not the case. He's done fine. It hasn't been great at times, but it's been fine. Again, the run game not looking dramatically different is concerning to me, but it's not a panic. They're trying the outside zone. They're introducing a new run zone scheme, and you can tell that both the line and the backs are getting used to that. But I don't, in the first string defense, I don't worry about the defense. I really don't. They're going to have to stop the run and they're going to get takeaways, but they're just so talented. And when we see Greenlaw out there, I think people will understand why this defense is going to be special. He didn't play in the preseason. We thought he might play today. I didn't expect him to, frankly, he or Benito, and neither one did. But when they're healthy, and that's the important thing, you got out of the preseason for the most part healthy. You lose Drew Sanders and Matt Henningsen, but nothing of significance in terms of a starter that's like, oh my. But overall, they go undefeated. That's their culture. Sean Payton wants to win, even in these games. And so they establish that stuff's important. Every little thing's important. How they travel is important. Don't have a hotel next to the Saxel Rose Jazz Festival. All these little things start to get corrected. And, so yeah, they're in a good spot. But again, for me, the floor, Alex, is 10 wins. So as you try to get to 12, you've got to be able to be better offensively so you can beat good teams both at home and on the road. You can't get swept by the Chargers, and you've got to have a counterpunch when you go on the road, that it can't be the Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton show, because you can't beat good teams like that. You can't, like at Washington, for instance, or those kinds of games. You're just at Kansas City. You're not going to win with two guys. And so that's so much farther down the road. And overall, pleased with the preseason, but I do want to see the O-line and the running back start to gel early in the season, not 7 weeks in.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, but I do think the team is going to be trademarked and go as far as their defense takes them. And I understand that the offense is improved, but I think when you look at how they invested their money in the offseason, it was primarily on the defensive side of the ball. And my key is health. I think Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, whether they play, I think if each of those guys play, let's say 13 or more games, I think you're looking at a very strong AFC West type contending team. I think if we start getting under 13 games and we start getting maybe 8 or 9 games, I think that floor of 10 is even questionable. I think maybe you're looking at 9, because injuries are the things none of us here can predict today. But I think they might have the biggest impact because on paper, this is a very solid roster. Probably to me, the most solid roster they've had since the last time this team made the playoffs. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl team by any means, but they have depth, and that's something I haven't seen here in a long time, Troy.
Yeah, for me, it's their best roster, Joe, since 2016. So not the Super Bowl team, but the year after. And that team won 9 games. They should have probably won 11. They didn't. They were 7-4, and then went 2 and what was it?
I believe they were 8-3 and went.
At one point,
I think they were 8-3.
Collapsed down the stretch, 2-4 down the stretch. But that team was really talented still, and still had most of the defense that won the Super Bowl. They had lost Malik Jackson and obviously a couple other players. But this is the deepest, most talented roster for me since 2016.
Wow.
I'm not going to say 15, but 16, where you look at too deep, especially defensively. They got a lot of answers. But, Joe, you're right. If Greenlaw and Hufanga are healthy, that's a difference of a top 5, top 6 defense to the number 1 defense. because Greenlaw, when healthy, can cover tight ends. He's really good in the middle of the field. And Afung is a guy who creates turnovers. He just has an instinct for the ball. And so, if not a magnet for the ball. So I'm not worried about their defense. They're going to get sacked. And here's the thing. For them to be special, you need the offense to lead more. Like, you look at great teams like the 97, 98 Broncos teams I covered. They weren't considered great defenses, but they put up monster stats. And then in 15, they did. The more you lead, the more sacks you get. The more you lead, the more turnovers you get, because teams have to take risk against you. They're down 17-10 or 20-10 with 8 minutes left. They can't run the ball on you really anymore. And so that's the flip of going from a good team to a team that imposes your will late in games. And that's why I get so, I go back to this run game, that they don't have to be great. They were 24th last year, somewhere, around there. They need to be around 15, 14. And they have to be better on first down. Guys, last year they threw on first down as much as anyone. That makes you too predictable. You need to be able to run and get 5 yards on first down on a run. And then it opens up the whole playbook. You saw one of the best plays today. What was it? Bootleg off of play, similar to play action. That's when this offense will click, because they'll bootleg and Bo Nix will roll out and Evan Ingram's going to cross the field and be wide open, and they'll have more than one guy open besides Cortland Sutton. So, again, I'm encouraged. The culture's set. The players have bought in. They've framed the season around winning an AFC West title, winning a playoff game. They want to go more than that, but they have created these expectations. The buy-in is real. Now go prove it. I think they're a year ahead of schedule. But it doesn't matter what I think. They framed it that way. They've got a really talented roster. They believe in some of these players more than some of us do. So go prove it. And if they do offensively, they are going to be a team that could unseat and end the Chiefs' 9-year reign in the AFC West.
That's a bold statement, Troy. But if it comes from anybody, it means something from you, because you've covered this team during the heyday and during the championship years. Cut day's coming down this week. Any surprises you think? And also, I know how they've done it before. I think last year was the first time where they just cut everybody at once. There's going to be a lot of guys on the street, and there's going to be a lot of players that the other 31 other teams are going to be picking off George Payton's picks. Are there some players that you should be concerned, or we should be all concerned with, where, man, maybe he gets picked up, maybe he goes in the practice squad? Because once you go in the practice squad, it's anybody's player at that point. But do you see anything where they're really going to protect their players that they keep on the roster? I'm really interested to see your column coming up here soon.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a couple of tough decisions. One at defensive line. Do you keep Jordan Jackson or Eni Awazurike? Trading Vele, technically you could keep 7 defensive linemen, but one of those 2 guys is probably going to get cut. As we sit here today, things could change. And so I don't think they both make it, but they could. But if one gets cut, I could see Awazurike getting claimed. The thing that's crazy about the waiver wire is they cut so many players. Alex, it's like 1,200 players go into the waiver wire over the course of like 48 hours. And if you claim someone, you have to put them on the 53 man. And so usually, as crazy as this sounds, so 1,200 get waived, like 15 get claimed total. And usually those are left tackles, right tackles, or cornerbacks. So I think Audric Estime would likely get through waivers if they cut him. He had a nice performance today. I'm happy for him, but I don't think he makes this team. Blake Watson got hurt, so he might start on the injured reserve. But I look at a situation where Estime could go to somebody else's practice squad. He could say, you know what, I cleared waivers. I don't see a future here. They like Bidet more than me. I'm going to go somewhere else. You could lose. I mean, if Eni Awazurike clears waivers, I'm 100% certain he would come back to their practice squad, and they'd want him to. But those, if Chris Abrams drains, somebody like that they cut, he would get claimed as a cornerback. But I don't think they'll cut from there. There's not a lot of surprises. Again, Vele, I don't think was in danger of getting cut, but obviously them trading him tells you he was on the bubble, that he might have been expendable. But I don't think you're going to see a surprise. A surprise for some who are watching just the preseason. I expect him to cut Sam Ehlinger. and you watch him, oh man, he's great. But a lot of teams have really good backup quarterbacks, and they're not going to claim a guy because you have to put him on your 53 man. So I would be surprised if he's not cut.
And he's just a runner. He scored 60 touchdowns at Texas.
Listen, Sam Ellinger is a guy that's the least of our worries. We have Stidham. He looks great.
Well,
Stidham is our guy, man. I mean, Sam's a nice player, and he's like a good camp arm, right? I mean, that's why these guys are in the second half of the last preseason game. There's maybe 2 jobs available for all those guys. But at the end of the day, that's over with. Let's flip the script. Let's talk about the game coming up here Friday night in Boulder. Your alma mater, the CU Buffs, take on Georgia Tech. And I was all excited about this game. And then I watched College Game Day, their College Scoreboard this morning, and they had a piece, Troy, on the quarterback for Georgia Tech. And this kid can play. He's seriously a real legitimate NFL guy, 6'5", about 230, really a dual threat type guy, but a great passer. This is a lot better football team than I thought maybe was coming in here, because you hear ACC and, other than Clemson.
Florida State last year,
right? Well, other than Clemson and Georgia Tech, they didn't make me shake in my boots. But I will say this: seniors better come out here and be ready to play their best football game. And also, they don't have a starting quarterback. Troy, what is going on here? And when will there be a starting name? They have 5 days.
I don't think he's going to name one. I think you're going to find out who the starter is when he jogs out for the first possession. I think it's going to be Salter because they want to run the ball, and I think we're going to see Juju Lewis play, and they're going to mix it in a little bit. The problem with playing a team like Georgia Tech early is they're known for running the heck out of the ball, which that's not typically a CU strength, even under Dion, stopping the run, although their defense has been better. And they will physically beat you up, kind of like a Utah. Like, they're going to run, they're going to be physical, and they're disciplined. They don't beat themselves. And so my concern for CU is, A, can you stop the run? B, can you run the football? And C, can CU stay disciplined? Because they've been one of the most undisciplined teams in the league, in the conference, even with Dion the last couple of years. And that's how you lose a game to Georgia Tech, because they take the clock away. They just suck the clock out to the point where they 6-7 minute drives, and then you have a turnover and then a personal foul, and now all of a sudden you're down 17-0. You don't want to play uphill against them. You just don't. I've seen them play well against Georgia. They typically play well against Clemson. And last year, in the first game of the season, they upset Florida State, a team that ultimately Florida State ended up being terrible, but they weren't terrible then. They were a top 10 team then, if I remember right, or certainly near that. So it's a dangerous game. But CU, I talked to the running backs. I did a piece this week on Marshall Faulk and how he's working with these running backs. If they're able to run the football, they got a chance to win 7-8 games this year. If they can't run, it could get ugly, because you don't have Shedeur and Travis to play backyard football and just throw it up for grabs and make touchdowns. They don't have that kind of talent anymore. Those two guys, those were two of the better players CU's seen in the last 2 decades. So yeah, I'm a little worried. To get to my answer, I'm worried, not just because of that quarterback. It's just Georgia Tech it's like playing Air Force. I mean, they're a disciplined team. You have to play really smart football, and that has not been a strength of CU these last couple of years. They're just more like, we're going to go outscore you.
Yeah, Colorado last year went 9-4, Troy. They went to the Alamo Bowl. They faced BYU with the Heisman Trophy winner and Shedeur Sanders, and a slew of talent on the wide receiver side. They returned 6 starters. You were there at Media Day, and Coach Prime told us there's 9 guys on the offensive line that could actually start D1 right now, which, in other words, we have some depth. But at the end of the day, if we don't have a starting quarterback.
Well, who's the starting running back, too, Alex? I think it's Dallin Hayden. I think it's going to be Dallin Hayden, but maybe it's Micah Welch. So you don't know. That's the concern. And what's that line at? What are they? Are they a favorite in that game?
Nick,
will you check the line? I'll be honest with you.
Hold on, Joe.
It'll be a close spread.
I bet it's a pick 'em. I bet it's a pick 'em.
I don't think
Nick's looking at. Nick's digging it up.
I don't think it'd be a pick 'em. Would it be a pick? I don't think so. I just think that it's a very scary game to go into, the home opener. I saw Rich George today on Twitter, X, whatever.
Nick's got it. What's the line?
3.5.
Basically,
CU Buffs are favored by 3.5. Troy.
Yeah,
and that's basically a pick 'em, because what, they give you 3 for home field. So
yeah.
I mean,
Give you 3 for home field.
If you're a degenerate gambler, you're going to take that. I wouldn't take that, man.
I don't think many people are going to take, well, outside of CU fans, but the rest of the country, I think would be very, very weary of taking that.
For Joey and I, and not for you guys, I know you and Keeler and this guy, you guys say whatever you want. But for us, we have to be very careful how we select our words and how we say things to the administration and the athletic department, because we know that, that we get watched and people watch and listen to what we say. And it doesn't really make us like, you're a true journalist. Keeler, you guys are true journalists. You guys can critique the team and talk about it.
Well, they're writers, Alex.
You guys are writers.
They're professional writers for a publication.
Joey and I are more like entertainers a little bit. So we got to be careful how we say it. But, man, I'm really scared about Friday night. Hey, man, I am scared. I'm going to go with the intentions that I got a new black tie. I got my new Coach Prime shirts and shoes. But at the same time, realistically, I don't know what's going to happen that night. And I think that the Buffs might lose on opening
I'm
night.
sorry. I was wrong. I read it wrong. I read backwards. Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech's favorite, Troy.
Yeah, I was going to be shocked if CU was favored without a quarterback, just knowing how I don't gamble. I understand how it works from so many of my friends. And when you don't have a quarterback and you don't know who your starting running back is, even though you're at home, that's a tough game to be favored. Now, Salters may come out and we're like, oh, what were we worried about? This kid's amazing. And he's older and he's a physical kid and he can throw a little bit. So they might be fine. My concern is they won't have patience for the run game. And then you put Juju in there. And that's a lot to ask of a 17-year-old kid to start throwing the ball 25 times in his first college game. That to me is a recipe for a loss, just because I don't even think that's fair to him, frankly. If it's against Delaware, that's different. If you're doing it against Georgia Tech on national TV, I don't know that the kid's ready for that. He's ready for some snaps, but if they're down, 14-3 and you just start throwing, I'm not sure that's
okay. So hold on for 1 second here. Hold on. Nobody cares. He's 17 years old. He's not. First of all, it would be a disservice to put in Juju Lewis to start this game. An absolute disservice. He is nowhere near ready. I was up there at media day. He needs to put on 20 pounds physically. Forget about anything.
I agree. He looked small last year when I watched him in high school, Joe. And he looks like he weighs 170 pounds.
Right? And that's what I'm saying. This is Division I football. He's not in high school anymore. And the first time one of these guys, would weigh 280 and run a 4.5 40, pound him into the ground, he's not ready for that. Kalen Salter's got to be your guy. And I think it's obvious to everybody who's been watching practice and watching fall practice. And if you've noticed at media day, he was the guy in the middle 100%. And he was fielding most of the questions like a starting quarterback would. And also talking about the mentoring job he was doing with Juju and how he's been a part of his training and that kind of upbringing. I didn't see him feel threatened at all. And he didn't look like a guy who was in a quarterback battle at all. He looked like a guy who's already been told he's the starter, but he's probably been told I think that's an extremely short leash. And if they're down 21-3 in the second quarter, whether we like it or not, you're going to see the beginning of the Juju Lewis era. And the one thing that you guys haven't mentioned is how fast these guys transfer out now. I mean, this guy's dad is another kind of a very big personality. Well, he's got a big. I'm just telling you, he's got a big personality. His father does, and I know. And Troy, you had a great athlete son too. You're part of it, right? And he's going to take his dad's advice, whether we want him to or not. If he doesn't play at all this year, and the Buffs go 5-6. I'm not sure he's going to be here at 5-7. I'm not sure he'll be here next year. And I'll be honest with you.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
I'm just saying, these are the things that welcome to 2025 college football, right? Because it's not just the CU Buffs that face this. This is today's athlete, right? And NIL has not helped this. That's even opened the transfer portal more.
Yeah, well, part of the reason he reclassified is so he could get paid. I mean, that's the reality of it. Because if you look, I watched him last year play Georgia high school football. He was really good, but he looked small in high school. And it's not a concern. Like, I watch him spin it. He's got the arm. I can see why he's a 5-star. It's staying healthy. Because remember, the number of sacks, the line, I know it's a revamped line, but Shedeur was getting sacked 50 times a year. Let's say that number goes down to 40 or 35. That's not great for Juju at this stage of his physical makeup. But, you'd like it to be where he plays enough, he likes it, and maybe they go 6-6. They need to go to a bowl. That's the minimum expectation when you pay Dion this money. You make him a top 10 paid coach in the college. The goal and the expectation is a bowl game. So you hope that he plays enough, they get to a bowl, and then as a sophomore, he's like, okay, here we go. Now we got our guy. But the concern is right that, like in any huge program anymore, if a guy doesn't play enough early, is he going to stay? And I do sympathize. I talked to Jay Norvell about this a couple weeks ago. That just sucks to have to recruit your own roster during the season.
Yeah.
That's how, like with travel ball, we lived that. When I coached travel baseball, it started to become that. It's why eventually, I mean, I was fortunate our teams were good, but I just went with, I want the best parents and good kids. I don't want the best players because a lot of times the parents were a nightmare. I just I want great parents and good kids, because then I don't have to deal with all the drama. I don't have time for it. I got a full-time job. I can't be recruiting kids after our own games and I'm not begging anyone to stay. You don't want to play? You're out. So I do sympathize with college coaches about that.
No, I get
You got
that.
about 1 minute left.
Here's the other one. Jordan Seaton, who in my opinion, can become the next Willie Roaf. You know that, Troy. He's a monster of a man. He's lost a lot of that baby fat from his freshman season. Dude, that dude is legit. And if he has a season where they're not doing well and they're losing a lot of games, man, you don't think
they'll poach him?
You don't think Alabama, LSU, USC?
It's a guarantee.
They're going to be like, hey, man, we'll give you $20 million to be our left tackle so you can protect this new quarterback that we just got. And that's the sad part about college football. So I just want to – I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but I want to say, hey, listen, let's see what happens on Friday night, August 29th at Folsom, 6 p.m. start, ESPN. Joe Rico, the final word, will be there. Hopefully are you going to go, Troy?
I will be there.
All right, man.
We'll enjoy that.
We'll buy a hamburger and whatever. We let's figure it out, man. We got to talk about it because this is going to be a game that I believe could really be a benchmark of where the season's going to go. Troy, maybe I'm incorrect, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be a really big game for the Buffs, not knowing who their starters are, who their quarterback is, who their running back game is, what philosophy they have with Marshall Faulk. There's a lot of question marks going in this game. Hopefully we have some answers.
Well, there is some talent up there, though. Let's not train all. They got some talent up there, Troy.
I want to see them avenge the sharing of the 1990 national title team I covered.
That's right. That's right. Troy, were you in school at that time?
I was covering the team at that time for the Colorado Daily. I was the beat writer for the Colorado Daily and doing the play-by-play on KUCB.
Oh, my goodness.
Were you on Platty's?
No, I worked for the Colorado Daily. It was an independent paper off campus. And then I was the sports and then news director at the campus radio station.
I love it, man. Hey, Troy, we're going to let you go real quick before we go. What do you got for them on content this week? How do they get your podcast? And how do they listen to you all week? What's going on? Also, follow him on X at Troy Renck.
I've got my last podcast was breaking down the Devon Vele trade, what that means. I will then have a podcast on Tuesday breaking down, kind of looking at the cuts. It'll probably be actually Wednesday because it'll be cut after cut day. And then we'll look ahead to the season, guys, break down some of these same issues we talked about. Where are they in the run game? Where are they offensively? Where are they with Greenlaw? But they're in a good spot. They're relevant again. Now can they take that next step?
Well, I'll tell you what, no show next Sunday. Obviously, we're all off here for Labor Day weekend. Everybody, we'll see you on Friday, but September 7th, hey, by the way, the final word will move. We're doing 10:30 to 12:30 to open up every Sunday here at number 38. If it's anything like today, Troy, where we had over 500 people at this bar today, I think you thought that the last.
I'm not sure what you thought.
Listen, Troy. All we have to say is you're going to be our VIP guest down here, and you're going to enjoy yourself. That's all I can say.
Quick, Bobby Pesavento wanted us to tell you that obviously the Bus for Life, they have a really, really good barbecue for pregame. So maybe on Friday we can get down there.
Yeah, do a little Buffs for Life thing.
Get a little buffalo burger. We can meet you down
barbecue
there.
Ribs, whatever, man. You remember Bobby P, man? He's the last championship quarterback who played for the Buffs, right?
Yeah, because Joel Klatt. Well, technically, they won the one side of the conference.
They won the North.
It's Texas.
That was the 70-3. That was not good.
He watches all your pods with us, and he said, "Hey, tell Troy to come down to my little because he does KOA sideline reporting with Mark Johnson and Andy
okay,
Lynn.
fantastic."
But he said though, tell Troy
hang
to
out,
come down, have a buffalo burger before the game around like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and just.
Hey,
all right.
You make it great, Troy. If not, no big deal. But I will say this, man. Number 38 is going to be on fire. Please, we'll talk more about, hopefully you can make a quick appearance. I think this is about 10 minutes. We don't want the stadium to move to Lone Tree, Troy. That's pretty much out of the picture. But I think as long as it's downtown, it's only 10 minutes from here.
Let's put something out there.
Yeah, let's put something out there. You heard that too, right? About the Lone Tree. It's 50-50, right? It's
real quick. Is that going to happen or not?
Yeah. Are they going to be the Denver Broncos or the Lone Tree Broncos?
I'd still say Burnham Yards is the favorite. It's just complicated because of the way they have to buy up land that's owned by the state. I believe that their preference is to stay downtown, and they're going to exhaust that option before they would move out. But that's just an educated guess.
You know how bad traffic's
Hey, I'll tell you what, you're not going to get out of there for an hour, but I mean, imagine it though. You got Elitch's, you have this, you have the course field. I mean, it belongs in the downtown Denver.
Troy living in Longmont.
Oh my goodness. No, he's not going to want to go to
Honey, I'll see you in 8 hours. I'm going to a Broncos game.
Hey, Troy, have a great weekend. Nice to have Sunday off. This will be the last two for a while, right?
On Friday,
we will see you on Friday, and make sure you catch the great Troy Renck all week long here on Mile High Sports. He comes on a number of shows. Get his podcast.
He's on every day with Sean and Nate.
Yep, and make sure that you follow him on X. And also read his column in the Denver Post. I know that's kind of a bit old school, but that is how it all gets started, right?
Great.
Best writer in Colorado, period, bar none.
Best.
You guys are the best. Have a great rest of your weekend, man.
You got it, man.
Troy.
All right, Troy. Have a great one. That is the great Troy Renck. All right, that wraps it up for Alex Ramirez and our producer, Nick Archuleta. You've been listening to The Final Word with Joe Rico and Alex Ramirez on the Mile High Sports YouTube channel.